We are the Ghosts in Us crew.
I don't feel comfortable from over there.
We look to experience the supernatural.
If that's you, can you light up that ball one more time? I command!
It's here!
Hey!
Blaine, I saw that on my screen.
That was the best thing ever!
And in this podcast, we want to hear your experiences.
The guy followed me.
It was completely involuntary, but I started crying.
Let's come together and pierce the veil between ghosts and us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ghosts in Us podcast. I'm your host, Blaine, and I'm actually here today with my fellow lead investigator, Taylor. How's it going, Taylor?
Hi.
Just so soft. I'm also here with her dad, who has a couple stories to tell. So, you know what? Let's just dive right in.
All right. So, in 1985, I was 12 years old. And it's my first solid memory of an actual ghost. Where I grew up, there was this old house. I grew up in the country. And there was this old house on Swan Road that had a reputation, obviously. And I'm 12, so it's spooky. I want to go investigate it, whatever. A friend of mine and I go there. And we're inside and we're looking around. And I turn the corner. And there's this blob of heat. It looks like heat distortion, like over a radiator. And I have to look twice. I'm like, what? And it moved. Like, it went down a hallway and went upstairs. And like any other 12-year-old, I reacted by running and jumping out of a window. Like, first floor. I didn't, like, go in a second-story window. But, I ran my ass off. And I don't think I went back to that house till I was about 14. After that initial encounter, I was of course curious about the house. And from what I had dug up over the years, there was an old man who lived there back in the 30s or the 40s. And in this farming community in the middle of the country, he was known to be this strange old man. Nothing unusual about him. In fact, a lot of people liked him. But one day, I don't know how, someone discovered him. He was dead in that house, in bed, and I think they found the body like a couple weeks after he had died. So, in the course of their investigation, they discovered they don't know why he died. At least I don't. I couldn't find out any of that information.
Right.
But the bones of children, like not like a crazy movie level, but I think it was pinky bone and some teeth of what they could figure out was, little kids. This is back in the 30s and the 40s. Forensics wasn't as it is now. But it got swept under the rug. Because back then, tiny little community in Wisconsin.
Do you know where they found the bones? Was it in the house or on the property?
It was on the property. If it had been in the house, it probably would have made the newspapers.
Yeah.
But, so from that point forward, that's where all these stories came from in the first place over the course of 50 years about, it's haunted but it is quite possible that this, quiet old man was killing kids. So
That's what I was just about to ask, is if that's what they think he was doing.
no clue, because this happened back in the 30s. And the
Right,
40s,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Don't know what the community actually thought. But it was, the police must have thought it. The sheriff's department must have thought it, because they tried to erase it from history.
Right.
The only reason that I was even able to dig up information like that is that in that area, families don't leave.
Right.
These are all Catholic farming, German farming communities.
Yeah.
So out of the 10 kids, 2 move away and other 8 settle in the general area. So through family connections and whatnot, I dug up a lot of information. No clue if it's on, it's still vague enough that I'm not sure,
Right.
about the stories, but it would make sense as far as why would his spirit be trapped in the first place. Why that house in general just gave everybody a feeling of dread. Even people who would never... Your mother, my first wife, always was scared of that house. She wouldn't let me drive by it at night. And she's been there, but she never went inside the house.
So,
Because she felt something dark and... Yeah.
is this house the one that's near the one that you lived in?
Yeah.
Out in the
It's,
country
right down
with all that crazy stuff?
Yep. Yeah, that's where we're going next. Crazy
Before we start that, I want to make sure I get this right. You practice paganism.
Practice?
I don't know if that's the correct term. I mean,
I have esoteric beliefs. I study all different cultures' concepts of mysticism.
okay.
I believe that science has discovered a certain amount of natural information about our world, and there's a whole lot we have not discovered, including things like ghosts, things like spirits that, throughout the past have been worshipped as either gods or goddesses who have maybe been called angels or demons. These are real, intelligent beings. And based on what I've studied over my entire life, I believe it is accessible to people if you can just find your way through to stuff that works, which recently I have. So it's more than just I believe. There are certain things I know. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how else to frame my belief structure and my belief system.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like not knowledgeable. I'm not knowledgeable when it comes to the pagan belief system. I know that's I think it's like a type of not religion.
No, it's just a loose set of beliefs.
Yeah.
In all of the beliefs that humans have come up with.
Okay.
If a culture had some kind of spiritual belief, I think that it is at least anchored in some truth. There's
Okay.
something
Yeah,
there.
that's where I'm at
Yeah.
too. That's how I feel with how we come up with cryptids and things like that. I believe a story comes from somewhere.
Yes.
It has to be based on some sort of truth.
Yeah.
I don't believe people can just come up with these beings. The concept of dragons
Yeah.
is believed across nations. It's the same depiction across different nations and societies
Throughout time.
throughout time.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you go to like Chinese culture, the dragon is there, and it's the same version you see in like medieval times and things
Yeah.
like that. And they're on completely different continents. How do you get that concept if you're not interacting with these people? That's where I'm at.
Some kind of ancestral memory.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big believer in what do they call it? An advanced civilization that was wiped out at some point before Babylon, before Sumeria, like 1,000 or more years before Sumeria, maybe 10,000.
Right.
Like somewhere around 24,000 BC, when we were supposedly just wandering and hunter-gatherers. I don't believe that. I believe back then there was some kind of advanced civilization, and I believe something wiped them out. And it is likely that if that's true, that those ancestors had an ability to see, like, I believe they understood things like the spirit world and these quote-unquote gods and angels and demons. I think they're the ones that had the information on how to interact with that world.
Right.
And that's why it's lost. And why? The why is always, that's where religion comes in.
Right.
Religion deals with the why. And I don't care about the why. Not at all.
So I didn't mean to
No,
distract you from your next story. I
that's
know
okay.
this is
that actually is important.
yeah. I knew that's something I wanted to bring up because you've done rituals in the past, and I know that because you told me about the one that we did. I think before we investigated the convent, or was it the school?
Maybe the convent, like he'd done
'Cause
a
you did-
ritual for
you
a
did like
satyr.
Yeah.
I wanted. That was a little bit before. That. A little before I understood the nature of Jack. Like, okay, I'll jump right into that and then that will come up more later. But Jack, the first time that I encountered Jack, I was 5 years old-ish, somewhere around there. He was my imaginary friend. And normally, kids have imaginary friends, no big deal. Like, you wouldn't think anything of that. Well, throughout my life, there have been, now that in hindsight, I see that it's been Jack the whole time. And the reason he's been here is that about 3.5 years ago, I actually summoned Jack. But since time doesn't matter to those beings, he actually answered my summoning all the way back when I was 4 or 5 years old. And yeah, he's been here. I had thought that my original thought of where Jack came from was that my father, when I was little, was a member of a satanic cult and made deals with demons. That's a very entertaining thought, and it's creepy and scary, but
Right.
it isn't accurate. I am actually the one who summoned Jack, and I did it 4 years ago. Yeah, and it showed up 46 years ago. And now he's here, and my memories have caught up, so I understand why he's here, and I understand what he can do. And yeah, it's been an interesting year as far as I know.
What kind of an entity do you consider Jack?
Jack, at times in Jack's existence, he was referred to as like a satyr.
Okay.
He has been worshipped by people called a god. He never called himself a god. Of like partying, revelry, debauchery, just any pleasurable thing you can think of, just complete indulgence. That was Jack. In other words, he likes having fun. He has a sense of humor.
Right.
And he exists on a level that most humans can't even conceive of. Because, like, we don't... It's a totally different reality for Jack. And beings like him can interact with us. A lot of times they do, but they don't have to. Like, they can go their whole existence never caring what we do. Like, I'm trying to find the best way to describe. In order to deal with things of that nature, we need an actual additional sense. Like, vision ain't gonna cut it. We can't see this. It's not visible light spectrum energy. We would need some other sensory organ. And I believe that the pineal gland is that sensory organ. It has calcified over time. For whatever reason, the why, again, I don't know. But human beings, their pineal gland no longer works in general. That's why most people cannot see ghosts, cannot feel ghosts, do not actually experience the paranormal. Whereas other people, some are way on the other side of the spectrum.
I think I've heard about the gland you're talking about, and I want to make sure this is right. Is that the one? It's not in your chest. Oh, it's yeah. Okay. Okay. It is the one in your head. Okay, because I've heard of one that's maybe I'm mishearing this one. I heard a psychic medium talked about this in another podcast that I listened to. I thought she was talking about maybe one that's close to your heart or something that might. I don't actually remember if that's correct.
But I probably talking about the chakras.
Okay.
Which are the 7 energy centers of your body. Like, that's a whole separate thing. If a person can, quote unquote, see someone's aura, those centers would be what you're describing when you describe an aura. An aura is composed of emotional energy of a human soul. Mm-hmm. And so it's all different colors depending on your mood. It's okay. Do you know what a Merkaba is?
No, I don't.
Okay. You know what the Vitruvian Man, Leonardo da Vinci.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That general shape, think of it as an aura around your body. So
Okay.
This 3-dimensional geometrical shape, it's 6 inches or so outside of your body. It's like you're wrapped in energy.
Right.
And the pineal gland sits very close to the vision center of your brain, as well as, well, it's like right in the middle of your sensory,
Right.
like processing. That's why people say they see auras. You're not actually seeing it, because if you close your eyes, you still see it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone who can see that, it's because of the pineal gland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on the...
It's hard to explain it. This is why I don't teach people, or really, I don't talk much about my beliefs.
Right. Well, I'm very happy that you're allowing yourself to talk about it today.
Yeah. That.
Okay. Yeah.
That
I was
shape.
trying to look that up, and
That shape. But you got, it's 3-dimensional. So it's like, yeah. But
For those who are listening, our investigator Zinger just pulled up the image for us on his cell phone, so we could see what we're looking at.
you can see this stuff like that. You can see leaking into religions. That's the Star of David.
Right.
And if you were to invest, research Kabbalistic beliefs, the ancient Hebrews, the Kabbalah is this Jewish mysticism from the earliest recorded times of human history. The further back you go, the more detailed, it paints a picture of a totally different world than we live in.
Right.
The Hindu Vedas, that is straight up sounds like a battle between two alien civilizations over the earth. It is amazing what these mythologies, I'll call them that because they're not 100% true, but it is amazing. These ancient mythologies, if you look at it from our current thinking, it doesn't sound like gods and angels and demons. It sounds kind of sci-fi to me.
Right.
Someday I'm hoping our science catches up and starts learning that. But anyway, I digress.
So, I guess a question I want to ask you is, now you've done rituals in the past. What's one that you regret doing?
So my current wife has some anger issues, and she's kind of a cranky woman. She's got borderline personality disorder. And our whole relationship has been what other people would maybe call abusive, where she is abusive sometimes. I cast a spell, and I did not word it carefully. I wanted her to understand how she was making me feel.
Right.
And it happened in spades. She is going through some emotional shit right now because of the way other people are treating her. And it really is. Every time she vents to me about how she's feeling, I have to fight the urge and bite my tongue and not point out, hello, this is the things you did to me. But yeah, I regret that spell. Big time. But it's gonna play out now, and I have no choice.
Right.
Once you cast, you know the phrase, be careful what you wish for?
Yep.
And the whole trope about the genie and be careful how you
word things.
How you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's accurate. And that's not due to malice from some entity. It's just not.
Right.
They don't see the world the way we do. So they don't understand. I want my wife to treat me better. I want her to understand what she was doing. But I don't want her to go through the exact thing I am.
Right.
I should have thought of that. I'm smarter than that. But it's working. Was it working?
do you think your fertility spell's working?
Hope so. Because I ain't gonna live that much longer. You gotta...
So my dad really wants me to make him a grandchild, and he decided to try and do a fertility spell because he had a very vivid dream of his grandson coming up to him, introducing himself as Theodore. And during this, from this fertility spell, one of his ferrets just died out of nowhere. The ferret didn't have any health issues whatsoever. It was a pretty healthy little thing, and it just passed away. So he thinks the life was sacrificed for the spell.
Yep. And I didn't, again, read the fine print. I didn't, if I would have known that I had to pay a cost with the life of one of my ferrets, I wouldn't have done that spell. I would have done something else. So I'm like, this is like dealing with forces of nature without reading the instruction book. Like,
Right.
I have instruction books, but it's all guesswork.
Right.
I do my best to study and to see what works and what doesn't. But yeah, this is all experimenting in the dark.
Right.
I have I have her mother right here
Yep.
to protect me from anything.
I know that's helped you in
Yeah.
the past when we've gone to some.
Having something of my mom,
Yeah.
or like one of her belongings, like her ring or whatever,
Yeah.
makes me feel safe, and I feel like I just have a layer of protection.
If you go to our TikTok page, Taylor and I once did a spirit box session on her SB11, and we got some insane amounts of communication where we just blatantly asked the question, "Are you attached to one of us?" And it said, "Might be."
Might be,
And
then
we asked, "Who are you attached to?" And it said Taylor.
Yeah, that is exactly the way your mother would answer too.
And you did one on the anniversary of her passing,
yeah, and then
and you've got a couple responses in, and you said that you didn't hear anything, but when I listened to it, I told you what I heard,
my dad said the same exact
and
thing.
your dad said the same thing, and I know that's like, it's heavy, and like it's just nuts, the kind of stuff the paranormal can give you, the stuff that
It's
can
it's
bring.
pretty comforting.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think that helped you with a sense, I don't want to say of closure, but like, that she's there
Yeah.
with you now always. Mm-hmm. And I think that's beautiful.
Just makes me want to go into more riskier paranormal stuff.
We almost did.
If
Potentially.
if your mother were alive today, and if we had fixed our relationship, the things we could accomplish right now with what I know and what she was capable of naturally, dude, we'd be the new Warrens. Because your mom was highly psychic.
I would have loved to open that museum
Yeah, no kidding.
of haunted objects that the Warrens had. It's insane.
I would get everything that I want.
Yeah, you would.
I just want to own so many haunted things.
So do I. We moved that haunted chair. So if you go to our TikTok page or our Instagram page, I had a chair in my house that had a spirit attached to it because it belonged to a person who died in that house. I've gotten spirit box sessions, SLS camera footage, and everything. We moved it out the other day.
You got rid of it?
No, it's in our storage unit. It's gonna be mine when I move out.
Oh, so you get to have a haunted chair.
I get to have the haunted chair. The activity in our house stopped. My mom stopped seeing things that's going around our house and everything. She had one instance and it just stopped.
I'm just going to say that's no fun.
But it's in a storage unit, so I'm wondering what's going to happen.
But I'm glad for your parents.
Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, so once everything is all settled, I get a haunted chair.
That's nice.
Fantastic.
And it's not like a malevolent spirit or anything. It's calming.
That's really what you gotta be careful of.
Well, it seems. Well, there was a bit. I did a spirit box session with it, and I put my Mel meter next to it, which detects the electromagnetic field in the air and everything around it. Well, I didn't get any spikes on it through the field itself. It changed the temperature on the chair, and it went to it was between like is 66.8 and like 66.5, and it stopped at 66.6.
Yeah.
So Blaine's
That's
just
it. I was
yelling.
like, oh my gosh! Like I was just like, of course it would, and it froze on that number.
Would be a sense of humor.
It probably was. But when I said, wow, it stopped at 66.6, of course you did, as like me just being a sly remark, and it said that's easy on the spirit box. I
Oh,
went,
clear as day.
clear as day in a female voice, and I was I'm actually shaking right now talking about it. That scared the ever-loving shit out of me.
You know what I hate? That happens. Stuff like that happens all the time to me, but there's never anyone else there to witness it. And I
That's why I was so glad I was recording it on my phone.
my current wife won't accept. She's that character in the horror movie that no matter what's happening, she's in denial that it's happening.
Like the super skeptic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to.
Like, ridiculously skeptic.
I want to say, like, my brother, whenever he talks, it's so hard for me to take what he's saying, like, real. But his fiance was vouching for him and saying the stuff that's happening in his apartment is real.
Yeah, you just witnessed it the other day.
Yesterday, I was over at Amber's, and I went to the bathroom, and when I came out, we were going to go get Kevin from work, and I saw his bedroom doorknob turning and trying to open. And I was staring at it, and I was like, Amber, are you stuck in there? And she's like, I'm not in there. And I turn around, and she's by the front door getting her shoes on. And I'm like, what the heck? So then I started recording as fast as I could. That door was moving, and the doorknob was shaking.
Yeah, you can see clearly in the
Did you
video.
open the door?
God, no.
Why?
But that I don't know, because we were trying to get Kevin. But we did talk about how they have stuff falling off shelves. They'll find things just shatter, and like they'll hear this or that. And I was like, they think it's mom. And I was like, well, you guys better let mom out. She's trying to get out. Why won't you open the damn door? And they're like, we want her out. And I'm like, send her my way. But it's been happening since he moved in. And I guess someone passed away in that apartment from cancer or something years and years ago. So
That's nuts.
Well, the dangers of getting a malevolent spirit is real. I have known people who went through the real world effects of having a negative spirit like attached to your life is unexplainable things, unexplainable depression, unexplainable illnesses, a run of bad luck that is absurd.
it's not what you see in horror movies. Like,
Right, it's not.
Doesn't it also
Yeah.
deal with smells?
Sure. Well, if it's demonic, there are certain signs that it's straight up demonic, which is, foul odors and, like the feeling you get when you're at the top of a cliff, looking over, and you get that feeling that you're gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
Just suspended. Like, it's that fear, and it comes out of nowhere. There's a bunch of little signs like that, but it doesn't even have to be demonic to be bad.
No, I know. Yeah.
I believe that a lot of the intelligent entities in that realm, I believe they feed on human emotional energy. And most of them, or at least half of them, are parasites.
Mm-hmm.
Where they will find human misery and leech off of it. And since that's their food source, their mere presence will try to stir up more misery. So once you get the parasite, it's hard to get rid of the parasite.
Right.
But that's really all it is. Just like if you go to the doctor if you catch parasites, and he gives you medicine to get rid of the parasites.
Right.
Well, that's when you're talking paranormal, penicillin ain't gonna clear it up.
Yeah.
So there are certain things you can do but we're dealing with, again, no instruction book.
Right. Yeah, we don't know the rules. We don't make the
Right.
rules. It's
Yeah.
just
So we gotta explore and figure out. I'm trying to put together. Like I'm taking notes right
Yeah.
now, and someday I will possibly put it into a book. And if people want to use it, like I don't care. You don't have to believe what I'm putting down, but it's the things that I've experienced firsthand. So
right. Before we go back to your stories, I want you to tell one for sure. This is one that's been itching me since we agreed that you could be on this podcast for me. You and your father did a Ouija board session.
Are we talking about Thomas?
Maybe? You said that your dad got some responses that he got upset at?
Yeah, this is a TikTok video that I never posted because I don't know when I should post it. So my dad and I, we did a Ouija board session, and we were playing around with the spirit box and this piece of equipment called an envoy, where you can have yes or no, emotions, letters, numbers, etc. pop up on a screen. And he was trying to figure out what was here speaking with us, interacting with us. He thought it was Rose, who is my mother, and it said no. And he just kept going through, and he was wondering, like, oh, it's attached to me. And he asked, are you Thomas? Was that his name, Dad? And it said yes. And he instantly got up out of his chair, and he's like, I'm done. We're done with this. Shut this all off right now. And he explained that Thomas is the darker side of him that comes out. And he explained it is like his shadow self.
Yeah.
That's what a psychiatrist would say.
Yep.
And everything that he has done in his life that was terrible and horrible to others, to himself, to everything is
it all
Thomas.
created Thomas, and Thomas grew.
So is Thomas what you consider, I don't want to say like a...
He's a tulpa. If you've ever heard of a tulpa, it's a thought form.
Zinger's on his way looking for it.
You have in your head, like, it's the argument that mankind is what created God, and God is real, but because our collective conscious created it. Well, that's what tulpa is.
Okay.
It's created by the collective unconscious of humanity, or by a magician. Like, you can intentionally create a tulpa. You can accidentally create a tulpa too. I did not set out to create Thomas. Thomas has been there since 14 or 15 years old.
So around the time when you like started experiencing like paranormal, like at that
Yeah,
house.
like,
So young age.
yeah, puberty.
Puberty. Absolutely.
When the paranormal, sixth sense, and all these abilities, that's when they kick in.
What
'Cause
was
you have all that hormonal energy, and
What was crazy was after you told me about Thomas, you let me play with the spirit box and just, try to confirm. And we were asking, like, who's here? And the spirit box straight out said Thomas. And
it really?
Yeah, and I instantly said, okay, we got to shut this off. And my
Yeah.
dad's like, why? And I said, it said Thomas. We can't do this.
yeah,
And
that's
Thomas
Thomas
is...
is real, and I believe I guess I believe that he is not the same as Jack.
You've stated that he is the reason why you stopped with the
Yeah.
paranormal.
Yeah, I shut down all my, like, a long time ago I was on this same journey I am now. But I stopped because it scared the shit out of me.
Okay.
And I buried Thomas down deep. In fact, it's one of the reasons I was a drug addict. A lot of the drug use was to bury and mute that sense. Like, I didn't want to feel ghosts. The sixth sense, I see dead people.
Mm-hmm.
I see dead people, but I don't see them with my eyes. I sense spiritual energy.
Right.
That's a ghost is spiritual energy.
Mm-hmm.
So is other entities. So is like a lot of things. I wish I could actually see it.
I think Mom was like that.
Yeah, she heard it.
Yeah.
She would hear things, like straight up conversations that she couldn't be hearing.
I'm the white sheep in the black sheep family.
I just want to make sure I'm getting this clear for the people at home, for myself. This Thomas isn't like a DID kind of situation.
No.
It's
No.
would you consider it like a malevolent entity or like a?
It's a very self-centered entity.
Okay.
It is all my worst traits, stripped of any morals, ethics. He just doesn't care. He's a sociopath. He would be a serial killer if he had a body, which is why I avoid him at all costs. And when this whole stuff with Jack started happening 3-4 years ago, I was scared that it was just Jack. I thought they were one and the same. And it's why I hesitated for so long. But then things happened and life and changed my mind on it. And
Okay.
yeah, Jack is completely different than Thomas. Jack isn't me at all. That is a completely separate thing.
Okay. That's what I just wanted to clear up because
I know sounds crazy.
Well, I don't
If I were hearing this from someone,
like saying
I would think they're nuts.
Okay, I told this because we just investigated your friend Mark's house. And he said this all sounds crazy, doesn't it? And I told him I don't like it when people say, am I crazy? Does this sound crazy to you? I don't like hearing that because I want to create a space where people can tell us their experiences, their stories, and I don't want them to feel like you're crazy because I want this to be a space where people can have open communication.
Yeah.
Most people who experience the paranormal, whether it's one moment or whether it's something that's constant for them, it's like reality is gaslighting you, because like you try so hard to prove it to somebody, and the harder you try to prove it, the more crazy you sound.
No,
And
trust me, I
people
get
will
it.
just shut down, and they will either be afraid of whatever it is, or they will, well, like I did, block it all out. And most people, if you're going to try to block it out, it's easy to rely on drugs to do that. We've got so many drugs in our culture that
Yeah.
you can easily numb out your brain in a million different ways. And that sucks. That's what I did years ago.
Yeah.
It worked. I'm not gonna lie. It worked pretty well. But the amount of drugs I did, all I ended up doing is handing the keys over to Thomas anyway.
Yeah.
Because
That's not what you want to do.
that was the opposite of what I was going for.
This is random, but I just want to put out there that my dad has been clean for 13 years. Yay.
Which is good. No, that's amazing and it's awesome. Like I'm very happy that.
I just wanted to add that.
No, that's good. No, I'm glad you did. Because obviously, it's not the way to go. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be honest here though. Not 100% clean anymore. I smoke weed. I have
That's
to
better
make
than
that caveat.
opioids.
Yes. It's not snorting Adderall. It's not
Taking painkillers
Yeah.
until you have nothing left.
it's two separate levels on where you're at. Like
smoking a little weed because I hurt. Like my
that's
body,
different.
Yeah, my
That's
body's
completely
broken.
different. Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, I would never have gone back to using weed though. I was perfectly happy in recovery. I didn't need drugs. I didn't want drugs. I enjoy being clear-headed.
That's awesome.
And now that I'm not afraid of the weird shit,
Right.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fun.
But yeah, David, I'd like you to tell me one more story to wrap this episode up. Just give me something that you feel had I don't know, something that had a really big impact on you and your belief system, and then I just want to hear.
First time, I believe, that I ever encountered something I would call demonic.
This is where we're getting. This is what I want to hear.
During a period of my life, I think I was 18.
Yeah.
It was 18, 19. Her mom and I weren't together in that time. And I had a certain group of friends that were like 16, 17. They were all girls. And Marie, my friend Marie, hypnotized me. Because she had learned how to hypnotize people and she was good at it. So she put me under. And Thomas came out. Now, he decided to mess around. Oh, no, that's not the right story. I can't tell that.
Erase it all.
I have to censor a little bit.
That's okay. I can add beeps and everything.
So basically, we ended up inviting anything to come. We had a Ouija board. We invited whatever wanted to talk to us. In that moment, keep in mind, Thomas was the one
at the wheel.
And yeah, this does sound like the idea, but it's not.
Do you believe you were possessed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I was possessed by the tulpa that I named Thomas.
Okay.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
He decided to open up a doorway. And what slithered through, we were in Kay's house. She ended up going downstairs to get a soda out of the basement fridge. And she screamed, like, just terror. And all of a sudden, she's flying up the basement stairs. She slammed the basement door and locked it. And then started babbling in the living room, like true hysterical, tears and everything. Babbling about some thing in the basement. She said it looked like a man, like a silhouette of a man, and she said it melted into the floor, and then came up in another part of the room, and she flipped out completely and ran. And I'm like, well, Thomas was being skeptical. And of course, when Thomas is driving, I'm along for the ride. So
right.
I'm in there, like, watching it like it's a movie. He, full of himself, walks to the basement door, and he's going to unlock it. On the basement door, pounding from inside. Like, we all ran.
You heard the pounding?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like someone was on the other side
okay.
of the door trying to pound their way out of that basement. And we just ran. We absolutely ran. And this is in the middle of the night in Manitowoc in the middle of summer. Oh, man. We went all over the place. First, we tried to get into a church, and because in movies, churches are always unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in reality. Though.
Yeah.
Like, Thomas was scared, which that's not in his nature. So if he's panicking, there's something up. And all three of us were seeing, like, these shadow things. Like, we'd try to, like, get somewhere, and out of the corner of our eyes, we'd be seeing that same, like, a shadow melts down into the shadows, slides around and pops up in front of us. Like, it was absolutely, feels like a fever dream. But 3 of us experienced it. And yeah, it was, I've never known that much fear, like even just sitting secondhand. Like, I guess it shook me because Thomas was scared. And Thomas doesn't get scared. He's too much of a sociopath. Like, what does he have to be afraid of, you know? But he was afraid. That was the first time I had ever experienced something demonic. Something that literally was hunting us.
That's terrifying.
Like, it is very difficult to deal with something that is an absolute predator that you can't actually see.
Yeah.
And you can't actually touch. To feel, imagine if you were locked in a cage with a lion or a tiger, but you couldn't see him.
Right.
Like, that's terrifying. You know he's there, but he's invisible, and he can pass right through you, but you don't know when. Like, can he materialize? Can he do anything?
Yeah.
In my experience, most paranormal phenomenon is not kinetic. It like things in that level of reality can't physically interact with us. However, at the high end and the low end of the vibrational scale, demons, angels, whatever label you want to put on those, with enough energy, they can affect the real world. So if you see poltergeist activity, that doesn't necessarily mean it's demonic.
Right.
But you should be on heightened awareness.
Yeah.
If something unseen is moving physical objects, there's a lot of energy there.
Do you think Kevin has something like that going on?
It sounds like he does.
Want to go investigate?
I'd love to. Wasn't that the plan after this recording?
Yeah.
Just to do a quickie?
Yeah.
That sounded really bad. I just said a quickie.
I do want to say, like, just a real quick, like, another experience like my dad and I had with a Ouija board. We tried to play with it on Halloween, and he was just really demanding something to talk to us or whatever.
Provoking.
Oh, yeah. But nothing was happening. He even, like, pricked his finger and put blood on the planchette, however you say it. Nothing was happening. But out of nowhere, his computer in the, like, back room starts playing YouTube videos about demonic possession and this and that, and he shuts his computer off. We're talking, and all of a sudden it turns back on and is doing it again, loud and everything, and it was crazy.
The more technology we get, the more people are going to start experiencing, because for whatever reason, the spirit world has a much easier time manipulating technology.
Right.
Like, when I was younger, it was a stereo that the volume, the ghost or whatever spirit would turn the volume up and down and would turn the power on and off.
Yeah.
But now we have such powerful and like our electronics, AI art is a great example. Jack can actually communicate through the AI. Like, he can manipulate how it turns out. At least I think. I believe that. Because I'll ask for specifics, but I won't change the prompt, and I'll get what I ask for. Like, that's... But again, anything paranormal, it usually happens in a way that can be explained. Paranormal things, there's a difference between paranormal activity and miracles. Okay? A miracle is something happening that breaks the laws of physics, whereas paranormal just bends the law of probability.
Right.
Like, it's improbable that your cabinet doors in your kitchen suddenly swing outward.
Mm-hmm.
But, weird draft. That's why my wife annoys the shit out of me, because I'll point out something to her and she'll explain it away. And I'm like, yeah, but what are the odds of it? Well, it happened. I want to win the lottery then. Actually, I've been researching a spell to bring me money, but I'm worried about it because, in my experience, selfish spells have drawbacks.
Right.
You always pay. Like,
I mean, your
always
fertility spell
Kill
to
the
get a
ferret,
grandson
yeah.
killed an animal. So what would trying to get money do?
yeah, and yeah, that's why I haven't done it. I'll allow Jack to just work on his own. Now that Jack and I have a understanding, I don't really have to cast spells. Just having them here is like having a lucky charm. I don't want to minimize it, but it's a good way to explain Jack. Because all he really does, his presence increases the probability that things will go the way I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that simple. That's what anything that is a non-human entity, that's basically the extent of their abilities. Altering probability. That's all they do.
Right.
I think when you get to the extreme ends of demons and angels, then you're stretching probability to the limits. Like, they can do wondrous things that almost seem completely miraculous. Like making people float up in the air. Chris Angel. You remember Chris Angel, right? The street magician.
Mm-hmm.
Any of these magicians that literally levitate, like, to the point where it's obvious that there's no other explanation. I believe part of that could be real, actual magic. Like, but if they have that much power to lift their body, then it might not be a nice entity.
Mm-hmm.
But that sounds like conspiracy theory, so I'll stay away from that. I don't even care. I just know
Right.
the paranormal is real,
Yeah.
and I gotta stop trying to prove it's real. Just experience it,
Right.
and not worry about convincing others, because if I try to convince others, it'll drive me nuts.
Well, I think Taylor, Zinger, and I have caught enough evidence for ourselves to say something out there exists.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially you on our last one, Zinger. But I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me about this. I think this is by far one of the... I've only recorded 3 episodes of this podcast so far. This one is going to release, I think, closer to June, Taylor. So if you want to remake that video to promote it, that'd be
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. That'd be cool.
I do want to
appreciate
share it because I want
to see
it was some
it.
crazy stuff.
But yeah, this one will release closer to June. By that time, our investigation of your friend Mark's house should be up. I'm currently working on that right now. I think we got some really cool stuff, and we were only there for a couple of hours.
Yeah, only like 2 hours.
Yeah, we had it was...
Well, that kid overdosed right there in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That leaves... That an overdose death, an intentional overdose death, which people think it was, that leaves some real scar tissue in the reality.
Right. I'm afraid that I'm either just an asshole or I was affected by something.
Yeah.
Because our other member of our team, Jimmy, Jimmy, yeah. He was sitting next to me. I was sitting on the floor, and we did a burst EVP session. And he was talking, but he wasn't even talking loud. But I heard it like he was talking like you and I are talking right now to normal room volume. I heard it loud enough where I couldn't hear the recorder, and I don't remember doing this, but I just completely snapped on him.
Wow. And
I yelled. And I don't remember doing it, but once I replayed the video, I was going through the footage. I saw it, and it brought back that memory of doing it, and all I can remember doing is just wanting to hit him. And I don't know if I was affected by the negativity of that situation, but or maybe I'm just an asshole. I hope that's not the case. I
do want to point out, like, during that investigation, whenever you were asking questions about, like, trying to talk to it just did not want to talk to you whatsoever.
It didn't. And I apparently also said, I don't care about what the spirits want.
Oh, yeah. You were just straight out, I don't care. I'm going to talk to you. And, like,
I think it really hit me because towards the end of the night when we did that, you recorded me in the bathroom. I had your full spectrum camera in my hand. Mm-hmm. And where he unfortunately passed was in the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet, and I was just trying to get it to communicate with me, show itself, whatever. And I just started leaning forward and sinking. I just felt the pressure on my shoulders, and it got to the point where I had to. I told you, I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't sit in here anymore, and it scared me.
It becomes suffocating.
It scared.
Sinking into quicksand.
Yeah, it scared me a lot. Like
that was the feeling of falling into an opiate coma. That's exactly what you felt. You felt what he felt when he overdosed.
It was scary, and I don't think I ever want to do that again. But I know that if we're going to continue doing this, Taylor, that we're going to have to push some boundaries sometimes. And
I definitely volunteer.
I'm glad you do. I'm going to keep that in mind.
It's like volunteering to be the first person experiencer of whatever this entity, ghost or otherwise, wants to communicate. And if you invite it to enter your body,
right,
fully, and show you can be in that reality,
right.
One quick one. Quite a few, like 5-6 years ago, I went to a hypnosis session to try to quit smoking. It didn't work. But what it did do is reopen that third eye. I had been like 4 or 5 years into... I was about 5 years into recovery. And I was still blocked off from the paranormal. And I went there and I got hypnotized and it reopened. And within the first few days, I had a dream that was not a dream. I dreamt that I was someone else. I got into a bar fight. I accidentally killed a guy. I got off on a technicality, and I ended up hanging myself because I felt so much guilt over killing a guy in a bar fight. And I remember being this other person, and I looked in the mirror, and I saw my face, and it wasn't me. And when I hung myself, I woke up. And when I opened my eyes, I saw that face staring at me, like an inch away from my nose.
Wow.
In bed. And I sat bolt upright, and it was gone. It was just a flash. And I could feel someone in the room with me, watching. And Shannon was asleep next to me in bed. And I just started talking to this person. And because, I don't know, recovery kicked in. And I talked to him the same way I would a living person in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Told him, there is no point in being submerged in guilt. What's done is done. And if you want to make amends for killing a guy in a bar fight, well, you're now a disembodied spirit. Go find alcoholics who need help and help them get sober. That's simple. And I felt the presence leave the room, and all was good.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's awesome. Like, scary, but that, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It was like a lost soul that you just
Yeah.
you helped
you
guide.
gave him a little
you,
tap.
You
to,
gave him a guide, and like,
yeah.
But once the other side knows a person like that exists, they
it opens a door.
Yeah. You kind of get a steady stream of traffic.
Right.
And for a long time, I had to tune them out again.
You're like the social worker of spirits.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't get paid for this. I'm not, like, what am I going to do?
Right.
I could be a counselor to those people.
Right.
But I can't. Like, you ain't going to come to me and try to solve unsolved murders. This isn't a movie. No. I didn't sign up for that shit.
Right.
Eventually, they kind of left me alone. But still to this day, I'll be out and about in public, and I'll see someone. They don't look like a ghost.
Right.
But they're there for just a flash, and then they're not there anymore. And then they'll be like, yeah. It's like I get to see them for a brief instance, and it just looks like they're like altered reality, augmented reality.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like augmented reality.
Okay.
And I've been dealing with that, since 2014. So
That's nuts.
yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank you both for taking the time to talk to me on this podcast. At the time of recording, we have an investigation coming up in June. It's another local house here in Manitowoc. And then you and I and everybody on our team, Zinger and Jimmy, there's only 4 of us, we're going to be going to the Broadhead Manor.
Yep.
Just south of Madison, and we're going to be doing a full investigation there. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see our full investigation videos there. Again, by the time this episode comes up, I'm hoping to have the one I'm editing right now up.
On TikTok, we'll have little snippets.
Yeah, and we actually just released, at the time of recording, we just released a teaser for this. So
You know what? I feel like it would be really fun if we did a episode of our experiences after an investigation.
an aftermath thing.
Yeah.
I'd really like that, actually. If
I think that would be
Something-
super fun.
just recount on some stuff and how we felt, and
Like, we could just retell the story of the school, honestly, because that's one thing that we did not get to put out on our YouTube
because
channel.
unfortunately our footage got corrupted and our batteries were draining, and they're just like everything
Battery drain
that could have gone wrong with
Went
our
wrong.
equipment went wrong. Like, we stopped at a mall on our way to the school just to get like food and everything, and I lost one of our SD cards. I don't know what happened to it. It just fell out. It just disappeared from my pocket. I never took it out, and it's
No.
just gone.
Everything that was fully charged, the moment we turned it on,
As soon as we walked
like
in that
20% battery. It was almost dead.
My battery and my camera. I turned it on. It was a full battery because I know I charged it the night before, and it just died. And I'd actually like to recount it because we got some really cool things that night. We experienced some really cool things.
Humming.
The disembodied humming. It was like,
Do you want to keep your batteries safe? Build a small Faraday cage and keep your batteries in it.
Yeah, I just saw something about a that kind of thing. It also prevents EMF detection.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I personally want an EMF shielded room in my house.
Zinger, I
Okay.
hope you're on
Because then
that.
no.
Hope you're on looking up the Faraday whatever cage.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Ghosts in Us podcast. Please share this with your friends. That's how this podcast is going to grow. You can follow us on YouTube, TikTok. We have a Linktree page. I'll make sure to put that in the show notes. You can listen to this podcast on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review. If you like the show, feel free to leave a review. I'll read it on the show and like share it with your friends. Again, it's just going to help the show grow. That's how I can get more people on this show, just to tell ghost stories, because I want a safe area. Taylor, you want to say something? I'm really sorry.
I was just going to say, maybe even if you have stories to tell yourself, we could do an episode where we tell someone's stories.
Yeah, feel free to
and
email
give our
us.
feedback.
Yeah, feel free to email us. Our email is ghostsinus@gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, feel free. I can always set up a Zoom call with you. It's not a problem, and we'll just try and get everything to work out. So again, thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next time.